All right, live talk. Doing something a little bit different. Wanted to come online for a little midday stream because I don't think I'll be able to get to my evening stream. And so I wanted to find out who's online and who's interested and available to chit chat this afternoon. So, that being the case, I away from my normal format, but definitely wanted to still get on and give people a chance to find out what's on your mind. And so it's kind of difficult to set up shop in a different format. So, doing it from my phone because my computer would not work. So, but other than that, people, I want to just take a minute. I already got about 30 more minutes before I got to take off, but wanted to just connect and find out what's going on and give you a little update as to what's been going on with me. I haven't been in my normal routine, given the fact, as you can see, I'm, not in my typical environment, but I'm actually out of town. And I also want to share just some thoughts that I had about what I believe should be most important, given the fact of everything that's happening and everything that we're all expecting to happen anytime soon. And happened to do with the interview I recently saw from a former guest on RTD Live, or RTD News rather, and that's Michael Pinto. And so I'm looking at my phone and the computer. Vacationing. Omni, what's up, my friend? You consider it vacation. Actually, I'm in South America, and right in the Andes Mountains in Santiago. I'm here for, there's actually a twofold trip. Had some meetings that I'm going to be having, and then also as a somewhat of a celebration for a friend. I didn't want to give it away last week by mentioning it because some of my friends down here follow the channel. So if I would have mentioned where I was going to be at, they would have definitely caught wind. And so it's somewhat of a little surprise party / get together for a friend of ours. So a lot of people from around the globe, not around the globe, but from the U.S. came on down to help celebrate a special occasion for a friend. So in Santiago, be here for a couple more days, and so this is going to be my format for the most part. But I still keep my eyes on a variety of things happening back home, and then also want to fill you guys in on what's happening down here. So audio-wise, can you guys hear me? Because I'm on my phone, and I want to make sure everything is good. And also, I saw that there was a somewhat of a 300-point or a 500-point drop in the Dow, and so if we're not getting used to the idea that this is all tremors for something big, I don't know what to tell you. And speaking of tremors, I was actually over the weekend sitting on the same little patio porch of the apartment and doing some work on the computer, and all of a sudden I start vibrating. It said slow down. All right, so I must be talking too fast, but I'll try to slow down. That's just typically how I operate. But I forgot that Chile is a earthquake center, and so literally sitting here on the deck with a computer in my lap, I started feeling a little vibration. I'm up high, in the 10th floor, and so you feel the apartment move a little bit. It makes you wonder, because in Detroit we don't have earthquakes of this magnitude that they have here. Oh, market slow down. Ah man, slow down. I look at it as a correction. It's the equivalent of tremors before the big quake. That's what I want to look at that as. It says here what's happening in my mind, what was going on with Chinese market smartphone producer and Apple banning in China. Ooh, I didn't know about the Apple banning in China. So first thing coming to mind when you mentioned Apple banning in China is the Huawei. And so if we were a part of the whole Canada situation in detaining one of the heirs to the technology throne in the Asian area, being one of the executives of Huawei, then retaliation is a son of a fill in the blank. So if that is the case, I haven't had a chance to check the news yet, but Apple stocks I heard is taking a little dive. So we are about to witness a hell of a correction, real quick. So so for those that are just joining on, something different, but I wanted to definitely reach out and connect and find out what's going on. Tit for tat, definitely. And so one thing I wanted to hint at as I was watching, as I started this off talking about an interview that Michael Pinto gave And so Michael Pinto was on RTD a while back, and if you look at the RTD series, it's the greatest depression of depressions or something like that. And he was talking to the same spiel of what he's talking now about how we should get ready for inflation at the end in 2019. And I was beginning to think about how that's going to play out. And if you're watching this and you're watching of alternative media in general, you know that something's brewing. It's been brewing. We see the tremors of what's about to happen. And so one thing he mentioned was the need for stimulus. You know, the ECB just dialed back in this December. No more stimulus. The U.S. was the first one to stop stimulus. So I'm more concerned and keeping an eye on what's left and what we're going to experience from the monetary toolkit that's going to come from the Federal Reserve, because it really got me to thinking about the need to inject liquidity into the system, being that everything's drying up. We got commodity prices down. I even read something recently that the dollar, as of last week, was having a hard time against other currencies. And so why do we always focus on the tremors and not pay attention to the end of how everything is going to happen when the things come crashing down? So my thought was, since Dow was down 500, finished up 34, and Feds raised rates this month. The Feds will not, I want to say the Feds will not raise rates this month, but they could be planning for something, you know, for 2019 in the direction of the new form of stimulus that's coming. And so I was trying to figure out what to title this, if it was just going to be a regular interview or talk type thing. But it's about universal basic allowance. That's what's been on my mind for the last couple of days. And I was looking at some statistics and saying that 1/3 of our country is on government some type of government aid. And if you're a government entity or politician, especially, your biggest concern is those that pose the greatest threat, and that's going to be those that are dependent upon you. And so I really believe that by end of 2019, and let me know, via thumbs up, thumbs down if you agree with this or can see me coming with this, but UBI, or what we call here universal basic allowance, because it's not income if you don't work for it, but UBA will be unleashed at the end. There's going to be more talk this spring on UBA, and then by the beginning of 2020, and so this is video, so we'll get a chance to follow this. We'll get a chance to follow this, and you can hold me to it or not, but you know it's coming. The stimulus, because they can't inject stimulus directly into the banking system without the top tier of society, as far as the income earners, getting pissed, but more like the middle and what's considered the non-working class. They don't really pay attention to events anyway, so they won't even know what's hitting them. So universal basic allowance is coming because a lot of reasons, but one is the fact that the pensions, the retirement systems, all tied to the stock markets. We got the bond situation unfolding. So we're going to witness some things pretty soon, and these are all tremors. So I might title this just the tremors for the big earth, for the big monetary quake that's coming. But 2020, people, watch. I'm not predicting, I'm not a forecaster or analyst, but I just believe UBA is coming because they're going to need a way to inject capital back into the system. What better way to do it than to, as Michael Pinto mentioned in the interview I watched with Greg Hunter, that they're going to have to go around the banks directly to the people. So hence the idea that you might be getting a check, some type of check soon of whatever kind. And the question is, what are you going to do with your check? That is a big question, because you can't just give it to a certain portion of the population, which is, I think, 137 million people receive some type of aid from the government. You're going to have to give it to everybody. So what will you buy with your check? When your check comes, or your refund, or however they're going to spend it out, we got silver, we got Bitcoin, universal basic. It will just lead to, yeah. And Jeff, I think I would like to be the first one to try to coin universal basic allowance, because income you have to earn, and if it's given to you for free, or the idea of free is not income. Bitcoin all day, yes, silver. Bitcoin and altcoins every time. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the crypto market. It's not looking good. And what's exciting, I'm really excited. because I believe it's going to go a lot lower. And that's going to be even more of a buying opportunity for those that are confident that this is going to be a part of the transition, which it clearly has been set up for that. But as always, I'm rambling. Let me get to some questions. You guys, we can't take live calls because I'm on the phone, and international calls cost money, and I can't do that. Scare the public straight. Universally stupid allowance. I would probably move. I would probably move that stupid part, just because, as a part of this injection of this next round of easing or stimulus, you're going to be a recipient of that. And the biggest thing is, the question would be, you're going to get it just because it's going to be injected into the system somehow. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to make it work for you will be the key. Bitcoin is a new gold for the 21st century. Lazy man's money. I'm ready with gold stack. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. So, reason I'm doing this format is because I won't be able to do a live stream this evening. And so I figure I might as well do it now. I got about 20 more minutes before I have to take off. And I want to connect with you guys, man, and just find out what's going on. I noticed that there's been a lot of activity in the comment section that I haven't been able to answer. It says, what is up with the BRICS Bank? The BRICS Bank is just, it was an institution, the AIIB, the BRICS banks, they got their own development. They got 3 or 4 entities to funnel their either their bilateral currency swaps they're going to do, or they're going to try to do something in regards to some new currency. And when they do that, yeah, bye-bye to the dollar. And from the looks at it, it looks like, because the sun is going down, it looks like it's getting a little dark. My lighting is not the greatest. It says, what's the deal with France? France is the beginning of the breakup of the EU, I believe. They're going to, the EU is in big trouble. It's in big trouble because France, the people of France, and also I believe that's a funded event. But you got to realize, for those that aren't aware, most of those people out there protesting, the younger population, don't have jobs, so they have nothing but time on their hands. Nothing but time on their hands. Yeah, man. So, okay, so before I move any further, I'm noticing a lot of trends. I was actually talking to a friend of mine about an hour ago who lives in New Zealand, and I was giving him the rundown as to, some talk, trying to bring him on for an interview, so I'll probably have him on tomorrow. But he's a construction worker in New Zealand, and so he was telling me about how Americans moving there and buying property is pricing out the New Zealanders, and it's of concern there. And so, what we're experiencing in the U.S. is everywhere. Like right now in Santiago, I'm in the heart of Los Condes, and I can actually point. Right, it's a building right here. Construction, they're building everywhere in the valley right now, but can't nobody afford anything. So everything is vacant and has for sale signs, or the se vende sale signs, because people can't afford. So the Chileno people right now are being priced out of housing. So homelessness rate is up here, and so we're not alone in the U.S. with having issues. It says some countries are tied to the hip even if they don't like it. So only the strongest country will survive. 2000. The question is, strongest countries. They're all under the same regime. They're all on the same model of debt. So it's no real strongest. It's more so, at the end of the day, whose vaults contain the most monetary metals is the key. Unwanted. Central bank. Buy metals, crypto, and non-electric books, hand tools. It's a good one, man. So actually, what else we got going on? Question wise. So for those that's just tuning in, I'm doing something a little bit different, not typical format. It's a midday because I won't be able to do the evening, and so I'm 2 hours ahead here, and so I wanted to definitely find out what's going on with the market.
Mike,
yeah.
See you later.
All right, my friend.
Go to the job. Miguel is coming 70:30, and then I will be with me.
That sounds good. All right. So, what else? So yeah, for those, if you guys want to see a little bit of the viewpoint, I can turn the phone around and let you see some of the landscaping, or not landscape, but just the scenery here. Question is, will Brexit trigger global recession? At this point, there can be any trigger to lead to the dominoes falling, because it looks like every country and every economy is working in tandem as far as being a part of the tremors in the global economy that we're experiencing. Right, these are all tremors that I mentioned earlier. So Brexit could be one, because of the pound, the result of the pound, the result of all the debt. Mind you, we're at $280 trillion globally in debt, and those are all just government issues that they had to, you know, monetize and corporate. It's governmental, it's consumer debt. You know, everybody's tapped out, so it doesn't take much to cause a domino to fall, I believe. And 2019, a domino will fall, and I think that's where we're going to get to the stimulus idea, because the Federal Reserve was the first bank, the biggest bank, it's the leading bank that began the stimulus project, quantitative easing, something we've never experienced in human history, where a government allows a private institution to monetize debt to pay itself, to then keep the funds in the vault and pay interest to the banks that cause the problems. That's never happened before. And those same banks now are bigger with bigger problems. Deutsche Bank, one of them, who's going to pay for that? The governments. So they're going to have to inject. It's going to be a universal basic allowance going worldwide, but it's going to start here in the U.S. Just how much lower do you think Bitcoin will fall? Deshaun Miller, I think right now if Bitcoin is like 3,400, I looked at, I can see it for just the last shakeout. This is just my opinion, and this is what I would prepare for. The last shakeout will be half of what it is now, at a minimum, just because it just seems fitting in all the trends of just these corrections of, you know, getting it down to the bare minimum. And it's not because, it's two reasons. They want to scare out the lightweight hands, those that are a part of the community, the crypto community, just for the sake of profiting. They came into the community because of the last hike up, and they came in expecting gains. They don't know the tech, they don't expect anything from the tech, they just want profit. Those people will be shaken out. Only people will be left are those that believe in some of the technological advances that can come through this sector, and those that have been hawkless for a long time. So what better way to shake them off other than scare off all the new money, as far as the new greedy people for the most part, and then bring in, give opportunity also to the financial institutions to get involved. So I can see Bitcoin dropping in half, just because it just seemed like it could be that way, and it wouldn't be that much of a surprise now, because who would ever imagine it would drop from 6,000 the way it did down to 3,400, and I think it may have gone a little lower. And I anticipate right now the market cap for cryptos is 110 billion. Looked at it a minute ago. I can see that going back down to what it was in spring of last year, which was like 70, so almost half. And that's going to be the last little shakeout before the beginning of the new year, because I believe as a part of everything happening around us, when these tremors get a little bit bigger, it's going to really cause problems in the primary financial market, stocks, and the inversion of the bond yield curve or whatever. And then cryptos will definitely go up just a little bit more. Says, I wish gold would hit 10,000 an ounce. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't, because when it hits that amount, you're not going to buy anymore. So if you think you're heavy now, you got more time. You know what I'm saying? You got more time to get heavier. Take advantage of the manipulation. Manipulation is our friend for those that are aware. So enjoy the manipulation as long as you can, and expect the metals to go lower too. Why not? Hell, this is the time, the tremors, you know, for everything to go down a little bit. It says New Zealand. What we got here about New Zealand? It says 2,000 the bankers got homes in Switzerland, New Zealand, etc., underground bunkers, the whole 9 yards. Hebrew Israelite. I don't doubt it. Very true. I was, you know, as I mentioned earlier, talking to a good friend of mine from New Zealand about an hour ago. And he was telling about the construction process in New Zealand, to where Auckland, the capital area of New Zealand, is becoming very expensive, just like it is here in Santiago. You know, a lot of my friends here had to move outside because they can't afford housing. And so he said that they are looking to pass some legislation that makes it somewhat costly for foreign investors to come into the country and to acquire land. So that's what's happening out in New Zealand area. But I'm gonna try to have him on and share some of his insights, and you guys can probably call in and ask questions if I'm able to get him on. But I wanted to definitely cover some thoughts, or share my thoughts rather, in reference to what we should be expecting. Everyone keeps their attention on the tremors as far as what Jerome Powell's going to do in a couple of weeks, whatever, with the interest rates and the bond yield curve. We all know where it's heading. And why don't people concern themselves more as to playing through scenarios of what could come and strategizing accordingly, as opposed to talking about what we know is going to happen? And so universal basic allowance is coming by 2020, I believe, because that's going to be the way to get stimulus into the economy in a way that the people, the 137 million people dependent upon government subsidy of some nature, will be willingly able to accept that. And then most of the older population that's expecting some form of retirement income, that's going to be altered majorly with the stocks and the bond situation is unfolding globally. So they're going to be okay with some type of cushion as well. And the only people that's going to be uncomfortable and mad and not so friendly is the working class, the working population now, those 20 to 55, 60 age range is still working. They're going to be the ones that's going to be pissed, because if you're injecting something into the economy that came from nowhere, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt because you're going to get a little stipend, your allowance, but your paycheck will be heavily devalued with the amount of inflation that's coming. So people are going to find themselves working for less money at the end of the day. Less money at the end of the day. It says, so, but can you live off it? It says you don't have basic mechanical fabrication or maintenance ability. Get the tools, get the books, and learn. Survival equals smarts. That's why James has just been very low, like weeks ago, $400. Gold and silver will go down by 35% before it goes up. This is based solely on my opinion. James, I don't doubt it. And so I see 30% definitely, 30% drop in anything that is considered an escape from the system. Hence, what everybody in this chat thus far who are aware of what's happening, look at metals and the crypto sector as a way out of a dying system. So why not drop it through manipulation somehow, some way, some type of sell-off, and cause a scare there? Because if people get scared and don't want to run to what's considered safety, then they're going to be trapped in the system. So the goal is you don't want people to escape the system. So hence the idea we can expect some type of drop further. 30% sounds fair, because say half, that'd be a little extreme, but an opportunity. It says, yeah, basically we will all take a pay cut from UBI, cost of everything will rise. Very true. And so when that happens, it's going to be very, very, very uncomfortable. So a good strategy would be to begin dialing back on your expenditures now, spending less on things you don't need and things that don't appreciate, and focusing on skill set development, networking connections, and also getting your weight up, because that's the anchor of all that in a financial sense. It says, can you believe this century is almost 1/5 over? I never looked at it like that. Never looked at it like that. It says, I just finished stacking 81 ounces of gold over the last 7 weeks, and it wasn't easy to find. Man, 81 ounces. That's some weight. Don't wait till the end. Good luck hunting. It's not. Yeah, and even and my thought process has always been, for those that are aware of the importance of weight from an anchor standpoint of financially holding yourself down in the days ahead, in my opinion, I don't believe you actually need much. You don't really need much to hold yourself down, because if you look at how this system operates, everything is digital and paper based. So everything is subject to some type of market or some type of, nobody owns anything. So you won't need much to be able to acquire what you want, just because how many people actually have metals? None. Like I'm in Santiago, I haven't seen a single gold store, silver coin store. There's none here like that in South America. Even though north of me there are some gold mines and whatnot, but people here don't recognize the importance of having metals. And so I got about 5 more minutes, 7 more minutes on here before I have to take off. But I just want to connect with you guys, man, and find out what's happening, and find out, give you a chance to share what's in your mind via the chat and community. Community base is going to be really important, because we, through this type of going back and forth here, we can strategize, plan, and run each other through scenarios on what could happen. Because the universal basic income, which I primarily talked about, at the beginning of this, is what is going to come, but it won't be comfortable. But yeah, it's going to be an opportunity for those that are aware. Finally, I'm able to watch you live all the way from Howland. My man, appreciate you joining me from Howland. Guns and ammo to protect the gold and silver. Bitcoin would not survive a great big war. Yeah, but see, another thing is, as much as I don't promote or encourage people to go that route, the scarcity nature of cryptocurrency will prove to be a way for people to escape the system. As all these tremors intensify, people are going to get out. People is going to want to get out of mainstream financial assets all at the same time. And where can they all go? Where can they run to get out of the system? They're going to run to cash initially, metals, and cryptos as cash becomes a problem. Because as a result of UBA, you can expect currencies globally to have issues. That's just how it's going to go, because that's the height of inflation. Take away purchasing power by expanding the monetary base through injecting funny money. And so people are going to start losing out. And it happens everywhere. It happens all around the world. In Santiago, in Chile, it happened in the 80s. So yeah, it's going to happen again. It says syndicator, gold always been around. It's always been around, but it's not being it hasn't been viewed for the majority as a store of purchasing power. Because as always, the end of all this is the destruction of your national currency. Wherever you're watching us from, the destruction of your national currency will be the end result of everything we're covering here, because it happens all the time. And when your national currency is no longer viable or something people have confidence in, where do you go? You got to go to something outside of that. And if you knew your history, you would know that every country was on a gold standard 70 years ago, and before 70 years ago, 100 years ago, they were on a silver standard. And now that's not a part of our history or a part of our educational system. So all you got to do is just rewind the clock and go back to what they took us off of, and you'll be in a better position. But yet, we're learning and experimenting this on the fly. But as always, people, about to log off. Got to get running. But give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this little chit chat. If I get back tonight in a decent hour, we can go back for some more. I enjoy talking to the phone because there's less get gadgets behind the scene on my end. And what else? Also, we gotta, it's 5:30 where you guys at, and it's 7:30 where I'm at. So everything is already closed in the U.S. But give you guys a little glimpse. Give you guys a little glimpse of what I'm looking at. If you guys care to see it, let me turn this around. So we got the Andes Mountains. Here's a little building here that's almost vacant, and so it's a dang shame that all those office space. This building was built like a year ago, and it's all vacant for the most part. And then over here we got the Andes Mountains between the buildings. The ones on this side got some snow on them. It's kind of cool. But this is what's happening down in the valley. So other than that, thought I would just share that little scenery with you guys. But as always, it's been fun connecting real quick. Wanted to just do this live stream, something different, see how it turns out. Let me know your thoughts. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. Either way, it's okay. Just want to talk to you guys. And other than that, be safe, be blessed. And if I get back on tonight, talk some more. I enjoy just having some free conversation, some free flow. This is fun for me. Other than that, people, be safe, and I'll see you guys later.